Hi everyone, so today my video is on books that I think are underrated. I have made a video about overrated books as well, and I made that one in Spanish, so if you haven't seen that you can check it out right here. Today I'm going to talk about underrated books. The first book I want to talk about is The Foreshadowing by Marcus Sedgwick. I love The Foreshadowing. I read it such a long time ago, years and years ago, for the first time, and now my book's all torn and the pages are all yellow because I've just read it so often since then, but I can't help it, I just love the book. It's set during World War I in England, and it's about a teenager called Sasha Fox who can see people's deaths, and she can see when people are going to die. She's had this gift, if you want to call it that, for pretty much her entire life, but it's just been more of an inconvenience than anything else, until when her brother is enlisted into the army, she sees that he's going to die at war. So she travels across Europe, joins the volunteer nurses to try and find him and try and stop his death and stop her vision from happening. It's such a dark and creepy book, and I absolutely love historical fiction, so this was just absolutely perfect for me. It's a really quick read. The chapters are only about a page or two long, so you'll just absolutely whiz through it, but nevertheless it's amazing, and I highly recommend, if you want something dark, creepy and really good historical fiction, I just recommend you go and check it out. The next thing I want to talk about is a series, and that is Noughts and Crosses by Malorie Blackman. There are 4 books in this series. There's Noughts and Crosses, Knife Edge, Checkmate and Double Cross. I think some of you would have probably read this, but I don't really hear anyone talking about it, so if you haven't read it, go and read it now. It's about 2 people, Callum and Seffi, and they kind of grow up as star-crossed lovers. They've been best friends since they were little, but society has a problem with them being together because Callum is a nought, so he's white, and Seffi is a cross and she's black. Malorie Blackman turns racism on its head in this series as well. So black people are the superior race and white people are the inferior race. It's just such an interesting book to read, and I cried my eyes out. It's really sad. But this isn't just a time where racism is kind of a problem where people are trying to stamp it out. It's a real genuine problem where there's huge discrimination going on. White people are starting to get more rights, but even so there's a vast majority of people who are trying to stamp out this equality, and it's such a sad book. It really makes you think as well a lot about the problems we have in our world, and just all through you just want Callum and Seffi to be together and you don't understand why they can't, because they should be, and it's sad, but it's amazing. The next series I want to talk about is one for slightly younger readers, but if you want to read it then by all means go ahead. It's the Ali's World series by Karen McCombie. There are 14 books in this series. I am not going to list them all now, but the first book is The Past, the Present and the Loud Loud Girl. This series is about a girl called Ali. She's kind of a pre-teen / teenager, she's at that sort of age, and it's just about her life growing up. It's really funny, it's very light-hearted and just not serious. If you're looking for something really light, then I would really recommend this series. I never hear anyone talking about it. I don't know a single person who's read it, which is weird because personally I love this series. I think it's just very happy and nice and just very light-hearted. But like I said, I did read this series when I was a lot younger, so I think while I still do enjoy the series, it might be catered towards slightly younger readers. But as I've said before, if you really want to read this series, then I don't want to stop you. Go ahead and read it because it is really good. The next books I want to talk about is another series, and it's The Passage series by Justin Cronin. So far there's only 2 books out. There's The Passage and there's The 12. But there's a 3rd book coming out, and I think it's called The City of Mirrors. But I don't know if that's official or not, so don't quote me on that. This is just what I've heard from the internet, so who knows. Anyway, this series is so good. It's dark and creepy. I don't want to give too much away about it because the blurb at the back of the books basically doesn't give anything away. It's also a very, very long series. It takes me probably a couple of months to read one of the books, let alone the other one. So it is a real investment. Kind of like Game of Thrones, you need to invest a lot of time into it. It's so dark and so clever. There's just so much that happens. It's a brilliant series. I just can't recommend it highly enough. The next book I want to talk about, which might be a surprise for some of you, but I think this is underrated, and that is Paper Towns by John Green. You might be thinking, why have you put a John Green book in this video? It's because a lot of people talk about Fault in Our Stars and Looking for Alaska when they hear John Green. And don't get me wrong, I love those books. I think they're really good, especially Fault in Our Stars. It's like my favourite John Green book of all time. But Paper Towns for me is a real close second. Personally, I love the book. I think not enough people talk about it, and I adored that book so much. It just left me thinking after I'd read it for days on end, and the more I thought about it, the more I loved it, and I really want to go and read it again. So I think it's extremely underrated and a lot more people should give it a chance. Let's see, can I think of anything else? Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosnay. That's a really sad, horrifying book, but at the same time it's brilliant, and I cried and I cried some more. Also, anything by Kyle Tassini. He's only written like 3 books, I think. Kite Runner, A Thousand Splendid Suns, and The Mountains Echoed. But they are like some of my favourite books of all time. So you can go and check those out as well, because they'll break your heart into a million pieces and stamp on it, but in a good way. So I think that's it for underrated books so far. Let me know what you think. Are there any books that surprised you? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing about underrated books and books that may not be getting the attention that they deserve. It's always fun to find something new. I hope you liked this video and I hope you're all well. So I'll see you all next time. Bye!